Hello, my name is Tinu. Today I'm going to be building this little flying V, and my dad's going to tell you a story that he swears is 100% true.
Because it is.
If this sounds good to you, then let's get our craft on. Okay, I'll build the guitar and you tell us about the stolen flying V.
Tinu, you already gave away the best part of the story.
The title of the episode is called The Stolen Flying V.
You have zero sense of drama.
Can you just tell the story?
Alright, God. Now, this adventure took place when I was a teenager, back when I had hopes and dreams. See, I had a friend called Preston Galliano. He had it all. Looks, money, a Kiss pinball machine. That kid even had a pet ferret with a gold earring. Everything. But one item in particular elevated Preston to a nearly godlike status. His Gibson Flying V.
Yes, that is one sweet guitar.
Oh man, you should have seen the production he made just to take it out the case. It was like he was opening the freaking Ark of the Covenant or something. But I will admit that when he held that guitar above his head, you could almost hear the angels singing. Now, on some afternoons, a ray of sunshine named Mary Beth Jeremy would come over to Preston's house, and man, I had the biggest crush on her. It was borderline obsessive.
She was pretty, huh?
Yes. Now, she may have had an excessive amount of peach fuzz on her cheeks, but I found that and her overlapping freckles enticing.
Okay.
Anyhow, when Preston whipped out that flying V, there was a sparkle in Mary Beth's eyes that I didn't like.
Maybe she was just really into ferrets.
Yeah, that may have been a contributing factor. Now, Preston wouldn't let anyone, and I mean anyone, touch that guitar. So I made it my mission to not only touch it, but to have Mary Beth see me playing it with my band. Prom night.
This won't end well.
So, like I was saying, I needed Mary Beth and the rest of the world to see me playing that flying V.
The world?
Yes, but the problem was Preston. That guitar was his baby. He polished it every day at 4:30 p.m. But he had an Achilles heel, and I was just the guy to exploit it. You see, Preston couldn't actually play the guitar. Sure, he might have been a rich kid with straight teeth and clean clothes, but I was born with a God-given talent for rock and roll.
You didn't have clean clothes?
I didn't need them. I had rock and roll. Try to keep up. So it was me and Preston locked in a life-or-death struggle for the heart of Mary Beth Jeremy.
No, boy.
The chessboard was set.
Was Preston aware of any of this?
Not a clue. Now, let me tell you, an elaborate plan unfolded in my mind so quickly that it could have only come from a higher power.
So God took a personal interest in your little scheme.
Well, with the way that things panned out, the identity of this supernatural force is certainly questionable. But I hounded Preston relentlessly to lend me that flying V for a gig with my band. Finally, he gave in.
Probably due to sheer exhaustion.
Probably, but there was one hitch.
He wanted collateral.
Yes, the only thing that I ever loved, my car.
So Preston wanted your car as collateral so that you could use the flying V at a gig, right?
Right. That guitar was his baby, and my candy apple red 1969 Mustang Fastback was mine. I'll tell you what, Preston was smart, a worthy adversary. I reluctantly handed over the keys to my car, and he slowly handed over the flying V. We were like two mob bosses exchanging our firstborn babies.
That's a disturbing analogy.
Trust me, it happens. So, I finally had the guitar, and over the next week I used a series of social manipulations, blackmail, and maybe a touch of phone tapping to make sure that Mary Beth Jeremy would be at our next gig, front and center.
Wow.
And on the big night, right after the bingo game finished, they announced my band, Prom Night. And boy, I hit that stage with a deafening power chord that cleared away the last of the bingo stragglers pretty quick. And let me just tell you, with my white fringed jacket and that flying V in my hands, I could feel everyone's eyes on my body, including Mary Beth's.
Gross. Let me guess, this is the point where everything went wrong and the gig was a total disaster.
No, that came later. The gig was flawless. I put on a rock and roll clinic that night. Long solos, leaps off of the drum kit, splits, kicks, you know the deal. And as I looked out on the sea of people...
At the bingo hall?
Can I finish my story?
Yes.
So, as I looked out into the ocean of humanity, I could feel the iceberg that previously surrounded Mary Beth's heart slowly melting away. After the gig, I found her outside the club sitting on some steps. So I made my approach. Of course, I had the guitar with me to remind her of my social status. And man, we sat on those steps for hours. She talked about things that would usually bore me to tears, but coming from those lips, it was fascinating.
What'd you talk about?
Mostly teeth cream.
Teeth cream?
She grew up on a farm, Tinu. Cows apparently have sensitive nipples. Who knew?
They're called udders.
Whatever. So later my big moment arrives. A moment I've always dreamed of. So I lean in slowly for a kiss. But then I hear Mary Beth gasp. So I look behind me to where I had leaned the guitar up against the wall. And it's freaking gone.
So the guitar just disappeared?
Not in the strictly magical Harry Potter sense, but luckily I noticed this guy hauling ass down the sidewalk with the Flying V. I screamed something that I'm sure offended Mary Beth's delicate ears. She was kinda religious, and I gave chase. The thief, sensing my psychotic outrage, ran through a vacant lot and plowed right into the bushes. I followed close on his tail. As he was running through the branches, I kept thinking, boy, this can't be good for the paint job.
Did you catch him?
No. Between my long hair and fringed jacket, I became hopelessly entangled in the brambles. It was well after dawn before the fire department got me out. But by then, both Mary Beth, Jeremy, and the guitar were long gone. All I had to my name was a tattered jacket and a less than flattering new haircut.
So did you know the guy who stole the guitar?
No, but his hair was colored a shade that said, I'm never gonna work a real job. So with that intel in hand, it was pretty easy to track him down. Get this, the guy did it as an initiation to join a gang, and the Flying V was hanging on the wall in their hangout like a trophy.
Uh-oh.
Of course, the only reasonable thing to do was to infiltrate the compound, Mission Impossible style, and liberate that guitar.
Of course. And how did that go?
Not too good. At 10:02 p.m., I breached the perimeter, and even though I was decked out in camouflage and invisible to the naked eye, I barely made it 2 feet in the yard before their yappy poodle went ballistic. I hate those freaking yappy dogs.
The street gang had a poodle?
It was their mascot. Don't sidetrack me. My cover was blown, so I said screw it, and I just rushed the front door. Now, I don't know if it was how I was dressed or the involuntary screams that were poured from my mouth, but the gang members just stood there stunned. I kicked open the front door, grabbed the guitar, and got the hell out of Dodge.
You got away?
No, they caught me before I made it to the sidewalk.
So the street gang caught up with you?
Did they? It was that poodle that really slowed me down. But Lady Luck was still on my side. You see, as they were slamming my head into the panel of a tricked out Monte Carlo, a car which just happened to belong to a whole bunch of cholos. Cholos who just happened to belong to an even meaner street gang. Cholos who were none too pleased with the new dents in their Monte Carlo.
Can you please stop saying cholos?
What? That was the name of the street gang, the Cholos. So the next thing you know, big gang fight. It was insane, Tinu. But this is where the camouflage finally paid off and I was able to crawl to safety.
So you saved the guitar?
Not a chance. The last time I saw it, one of the cholos was bashing the hell out of somebody with it. I'm pretty sure all that remains of it is a bag of splinters locked up in a police evidence room somewhere.
Okay, hold on. Didn't Preston make you pay for the guitar or keep your car or something?
No, he was in jail. See, the day after the gig, I reported my car stolen to buy me some time. 2 hours later, he was arrested in the Kmart parking lot.
Dad!
Tinu, life is messy, but I eventually did the right thing. I went visit him in the slammer, and I calmly explained the situation. I would drop the theft charges if he just forgot about the Flying V.
So Preston just got screwed for lending you his guitar.
What are you talking about? He got off easy. He was facing 5 to 7 years and a $3,000 fine.
That does not make it any better.
I also made him give me the ferret.
You are a terrible person. I tried out some new animation software on this project. It's called Cartoon Animator 5, and I want to thank Reallusion for letting me try the software out. I was able to pull off some shots that would have been very difficult to do otherwise, and it made it pretty easy. So I've just scratched the surface with this software, but I'm excited to see where it'll take me.